I'm Chris,
And I'm Kiley. And this is Redefining Resilience,
where we explore what it means to build a resilient lifestyle
so you can thrive in any and every situation.
Welcome back to another episode.
Redefining Resilience.
Hell yeah. Now that was good enthusiasm. Well done. All right, so today, big breath in before we start, we're going to talk about neuron mirroring. Mirroring, if I can even say it correctly. We want to go back to a statement that was made in the previous episode. Show me your friends and I will show you your future.
It's a pretty powerful statement.
Yeah, I heard it from my 7th grade Sunday school teacher, and I thought, who is this turd? Like, what do you mean, man? I'm in control of my life. Like, it took me a good 20 years to actually apply that and see how that actually works. But if you're around a group of people, you're going to use their social norms as your norm.
Yep.
So it literally translates to everybody. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Well, and neuron mirroring is referring to mirror neurons in our brain. It's a type of brain cell that activates when an individual performs an action and when they observe the same action being performed by somebody else.
So monkey see, monkey do?
Monkey see, monkey do. Yep. So these neurons are mirroring the actions of others, which is really helpful in some cases, and in other cases can be really harmful. They are helpful when we're trying to understand and empathize with other people's emotions.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So you instinctively can sense, depending on how intuitive you are, you can sense when somebody else is feeling some kind of emotional response, and you'll get an inkling like, hey, something's up. That's your mirror neurons in action.
Is that like listen to a sad song, get sad?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Totally. Well, and it's why, when you go through a breakup, all you want to listen to is sad songs. Because it's like, oh, somebody can empathize with me. Oh, and now I feel what they're feeling in the song.
Yeah, okay.
And then it also is helpful in learning by observation. So, you don't even realize this probably, but when you demo a movement in the gym, somebody is picking up the form that you're demonstrating at a subconscious level and at a conscious level. The subconscious level is the mirror neurons at play when observing and learning new behaviors.
Yeah, I see that through training. If I can explain the movement while I'm doing the movement and break it down into pieces, people tend to pick up on it quicker.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I was in the gym this week with Stephanie, and she and I were working out, and I was doing overhead press, and I started to go up on my tiptoes because I was pushing heavier weight, and she started going up on her tiptoes because she was watching me, and she even caught herself and was like, why am I on my tiptoes right now?
It's really normal.
Yeah,
it's
super
really
normal.
Goofy, but everybody does it.
Yeah. It also helps with verbal communication.
Mm-hmm.
So you tend to talk similarly or mirror the communication style of other people, or maybe somebody is making a weird face and you start to find that your face is making the same weird face after observing somebody else. It's also why yawns are contagious.
Here's an interesting one. Do you know huskies mirror the face of their owners?
Yes. I've actually seen
Like
lots of videos of huskies making weird faces like right along with their owners. Yeah.
Yeah, like raise your eyebrow. The husky will raise its eyebrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Fantastic.
It's wild.
Our dogs don't do that.
No. Nope. Now, downside of mirror neurons, we can over-identify with somebody else's emotions, which is essentially when empathy turns into you sitting in somebody else's emotions with them.
I think that is the cause of a lot of problems nowadays.
Oh, yeah. Big
Fighting
time.
somebody else's battle for them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you ain't winning that battle for them.
Well, that's why complaining is so dangerous.
Well,
Because complaining is contagious also. Positivity is also contagious.
yeah.
Right? So all of these attitudes can be passed along to somebody else. That's why it's really important in an organization or a team to have a strong culture and strong leadership that demonstrates optimism and positivity and energy, positive energy, right? But the downside of that is if you've got a complainer in your life that's always complaining to you, eventually you start to pick up on some of those habits. You'll start complaining. You'll start identifying yourself with that person. And when you do that, you start to become what they are becoming.
I've seen that in a lot of places I've managed. It's like a disease.
Mm-hmm.
It just overtakes the whole company. I've watched it overtake 15, 20 people at a time.
Oh,
Where
big
one
time.
person comes in. We had a great group of ladies that worked for a section of the bank I worked with. Great ladies. Always funny, always having a great time. Worked hard, great environment. They hired in the wrong person. 2 months later, people were quitting, throwing fits, filing complaints with HR, just like all of a sudden all these problems came out of the woodwork. And the catalyst was the wrong hire in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
It literally destroyed the team.
Well, and I've seen this countless times. I can think of another example where company was going through a little bit of a restructure and some of the people who had been there longer were just adamantly opposed to all the changes that were happening and were not getting on board, and they ended up becoming anchors for everybody else that's trying to, you know, set sail. Meanwhile, we've got these tethers holding us back with these tenured people that had a bad attitude, think that the way things were was the best way, and it just stunts growth. It stunts progress moving forward, and you can't have that if you want your team to grow and evolve.
Well, what's crazy is this is not just people inside of business. This is also personal. Like, I've seen my daughters go through it. They start hanging out with complainers at school.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you know, we hate this class and we hate this teacher and we hate this homework. It's like, man, you used to love this class. Why do you hate this class now? Well, you hate it because you're hanging out with the wrong fucking people. You're hanging out with the people that hate it.
Yeah. Well, and I had a CrossFit coach tell me that I was complaining too much in class, and it really caught me off guard. And I was like, oh, man, like, I'm a disruption. I better use this power for good instead of evil, because he said, like, hey, you get a lot of attention from the other people in the class, and if you complain, it starts like a whole domino effect of other people complaining. And if you can influence people in a positive way, we can have more fun in class than misery, right?
Yep.
Like, these are hard workouts anyway. We don't need to make them harder from an emotional standpoint. Now, let's say another reason that neuron mirroring can be a negative, you imitate behavior. So anybody around you with bad habits, I can think of a friend specifically who started, she was petite, small, not overweight whatsoever, started hanging out with a bunch of girls that were overweight, and their habits were, let's go out to eat all the time and let's order the burger with the french fries. Not that burgers are bad, but like fried food and pizza and all this stuff that she wouldn't normally eat, or that she had habits in place that weren't these. But because she's hanging out with a new crowd, she's adapting to the people around her, and she started gaining weight.
It's crazy how the social norm, quote unquote, is manipulatable.
Yeah.
I remember when I got into powerlifting, I tend to be really obsessive. So like,
You?
I just want to be around the people that I want to be around that are pushing towards the same goal. So even in the powerlifting world, like if I started hanging out with people that complained about competing and complained about the judges and complained about the bars and the weights and the other shit and the singlets and shit we couldn't control, but everybody had to deal with, but for some reason they found this euphoria almost in bitching, and it just ruined all the meets. It's like all we're doing here is bitching. Like,
and
why do we even play this game?
Yeah, part of it is you want to feel like you belong somewhere. So if the majority of the group is thinking one way, it's called group think. We want to think like the rest of the group. We want to fit in. We want to be part of the pack. Like, this is just normal human behavior, right? This isn't like no one's the exception to this. You know, the other thing from a behavior perspective that I've seen in real life come out, drinking.
Yeah.
Drinking is a huge one. At college in IU, like, I didn't hang out with a single person that didn't drink alcohol. That didn't mean that they don't exist. It just means that that's not who I surrounded myself with, because I wanted to be around people that were going to enable the bad habits, right? That were going to go along with the same things that I wanted to do. And if I was around somebody that wasn't drinking, it was kind of weird, right? Like it either felt like I didn't belong or they didn't belong.
Yeah. I mean, technically they don't.
Right.
Like, which has always been okay to me. Like, if I'm the outcast or the social oddity, I'm like, man, I'm probably doing something right, you know? But even to that token, you can find a bunch of people that are bucking the system in the wrong direction really fast if you're not intentional about who you're putting in your life and why.
Well, and it also makes me think of a specific example. We were out one night with friends and ran into another friend at the restaurant, and he was with a buddy and drinking a vodka soda at that restaurant. And then we all decided we were going to merge our groups and go to a different bar. Well, our friend's buddy fell off the group, and as soon as we all got to the next bar, everyone ordered soda waters. Nobody ordered alcohol in our group. So our buddy, who was drinking the vodka soda before with his first friend, because he wasn't there anymore, he was surrounded by soda water drinkers. He ordered a soda water.
Yeah.
His behavior was directly impacted by who he surrounded himself with, and it wasn't even a different night. It was the same night, but he just behaved differently in different groups.
So if you think this is not true, because I can feel the skeptics when this is just recording.
Go watch children.
Well, not only watch children, ask yourself about the first time you met your best friend and how different you were. And the things that they did that you thought were really funny and goofy, but now you don't even recognize. And ask yourself, how many of those traits did you pick up that you didn't do before you met them?
Yeah.
Not even your best friend, your current social group. Do you do things differently because you're around them? Congratulations, bud. That's neuron mirroring. You're doing it.
When I was little, I remember my neighbor would always smile this like fake smile. You can't see me right now, but it's like, I don't even know how you'd explain it.
It's like a cheesy, scary movie, I'm about to murder you smile.
Yes.
Yeah.
She would not actually like give a real smile in a photo ever. And then I started smiling like her because I thought that was cool. She also said, I'm probably not going to be able to say it right, but she called it toilet paper. So she didn't say toilet paper. And now, even to this day, I say toilet paper. It's like a hybrid of both, but it was because I was around her so much that I got conditioned, and that was when I was 8 years old. I got conditioned to say it the way she said it.
The biggest example of this is go down to Louisiana and listen to the way people talk.
Oh my gosh. The Cajuns are.
When I go down to Louisiana, my entire language changes.
Oh, yeah.
Like I think in Cajun.
Yeah.
Like it's because I'm used to it. I was around it for so long. The way I communicate with people is different. The way I hold myself is different because the world is different.
Yep.
You're around a group of people that are different than you are where you are right now.
Well, my family's from Northwest Indiana, really close to Chicago. So when I talk to them on the phone, my voice changes. I know it does.
Yeah, it's very northern.
I sound very nasally. more nasally than usual.
It just sounds like you're from the north.
Yeah.
That's the most beautiful. I didn't even think about this when we started. That's the most beautiful example of neuron mirroring.
Yeah, it's
we
accents.
all live in America.
Yeah.
It's accents.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. It also can induce anxiety because you hang around an anxious person, it's going to eventually affect you.
Oh, yeah.
You can feel someone's anxious energy. If you are a calm person and an anxious person comes into your space, it will feel chaotic to you. And if you've never experienced this, you might be the chaotic one.
So I believe everything functions on energy levels.
Mm-hmm.
So part of our practice is mobility work. So we put somebody on a massage table and physically move them through motions. I can feel people's energy.
Mm-hmm.
Right when they walk in the room, I can feel what's going on. I can see by the way they hold themselves and they move, whether or not they were stressed that day, what kind of work they do. Usually I ask questions without a question mark. Like, do you work in an office? I know you do because I can tell, right? Or, man, today was stressful, wasn't it? Yeah, it was because your shoulders are scratching your ears. Like, those are things that you end up picking up on the more you're around people. But it is incredible the amount of power you have in your energy. You affect the room. If you have anxious energy and you're excitable, trust me, people feel it.
Yeah.
You can't hide any of that.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, the more you try to hide it, the more it raises the anxiety and the more energy you're putting into it. Therefore, the louder you are at it.
And I'd say the last thing that we could probably add to the list is vulnerability to manipulation. So if you are around somebody and you are socially sensitive and they are a pretty dominant force, you might be more easily influenced by that energy around you.
Well, that and if you don't understand your own. I knew for a long time that I wasn't where I wanted to be, but I didn't know where I wanted to be. So I had no idea what kind of person I wanted to be, what I wanted to do with my life.
So you kind of become a chameleon.
And you do, and you just kind of test things out. I think that's part of growing up is you don't know what you don't know, so you got to go experience a bunch of stuff to figure out what you don't want to know or implement. So you have to be kind of a chameleon at first, but the more you figure out what you want, the easier it is to start putting some boundaries up. But I mean, we've got friends our age, and I mean, I'm almost 40, that are continuously living in this like circle, the spiral of bad decisions because they're literally just following the friend group. And it's like watching a horror movie because we understand, listen, you do this enough times, you're never going to get out of the spiral. You are stuck there forever. And we just watch them fall back into it. It's insane.
Well, and I think the more you practice mindfulness and have a high level of composure, you can start to recognize when it's happening and then also decide, okay, is this a good thing or a bad thing that's happening? Like, let's say I'm in a prospect meeting and I'm empathizing and feeling the other person's energy and I can sense something and I maybe ask them a thoughtful question because of what I'm sensing. In that case, like, that's productive. it was interesting because a friend was telling me how she recognized this exact thing going on while she was meeting with somebody, and she had to almost like take a deep breath, like fix her posture, realign herself mentally, and step out of the other person's feelings and energy and tap back into her own, because he needed her normal energy, right? Tapping into his energy was only going to give him more of the same thinking. She wanted to give him different things to think about in that conversation. And so her opposite energy was necessary, right? So she was self-aware and regulated herself in that moment. Just like Stephanie, when she was working out with me and was like, why am I on my tippy toes? And she put herself back down on the ground. That's self-regulation, right? In those moments. I think when you practice mindfulness, it helps create more presence in every moment. So if you can train your brain to turn off the thoughts and stay in the moment, you're more likely to recognize when this is happening and how to use it to your advantage versus when to turn it off because it's becoming a disadvantage to you.
So I think the coolest thing about these 6 domains is when we go through each one of them, you can see clearly why they are in the order that they're in. In order for me to empathize with somebody but pull myself away, I have to understand where I'm headed in the first place, why I'm headed there in the first place, and what actions need to happen or not happen in order to get there. If I'm sitting with somebody and they start talking about how much it sucks to work out, how tired they are all the time, how sore they are, what stupid injury they had, because I think all injuries are stupid. Nobody gets an injury and thinks it's awesome. If I sit in that for long enough, I can see it and feel it affect my drive. And I have to physically pull myself out and go, okay, that's your situation, bud, but that's not where I want to go, because you're headed down a path that is opposite of where I want to go. So then I can remove myself emotionally and say, that's cool, man. I can sympathize with you and empathize with you, but I am not you. And I'm not going to repeat what you're doing or give credence to it. I don't have to say that it's okay. I can help validate your feelings, but in my path, I know where I'm going. Then I use my composure skills, my reasoning, my tenacity, my health, and my collaboration. I look to all of those to give myself guidance. So I can be mindful. I can understand this moment because this moment is leading me somewhere. If the moment's arbitrary, you're just blown around like a leaf in the wind.
Well, and I think you have to take inventory. I mean, we talked about this in a previous episode, but you have to take inventory of the people closest in your circle and say, like, are these grounded, positive, productive, aspirational people that I have around me all the time? Do they have the life I want?
That's the question.
I look at, some of our friends, and a lot of them are business owners. A lot of them are really successful in their profession, police officers, executives, great human beings that are contributing positively to their community and to their companies and to their families, right? And have the family structure that we support and the values that we live out ourselves, right? There's alignment there. We very intentionally choose who we surround ourselves with and who we limit our exposure to. There's times where you might have clients who are a little bit exhausting, in which case you may say, you know what? When I get to the point where I can be selective about who I'm working with, I'm going to cut this client out.
Yeah.
Not all clients are good clients. And we've both had clients where you leave absolutely just gassed because they are so exhausting.
Yeah. And I've also had clients that other people have deemed exhausting, and I think they're great.
Yeah.
I think they're absolutely fantastic.
Right.
But you also have to safeguard yourself. You have to understand how to protect yourself from those people. And sometimes those people need your positive energy, like your story earlier.
Yep.
That guy needed her positive energy. So I think it's a benefit, but you also have to understand it's like a muscle group. You have to train that ability in order to have that ability. You can't just free willy-nilly start giving people your energy without knowing how to compartmentalize a little bit better, how to establish boundaries personally and emotionally. If you don't know how to do that, you're going to get in a world of hurt. I know I would dump all my time and energy. I know that you know exactly who I'm talking about, into a father-son combo. And I dumped a lot of energy and a lot of time. And I ended up getting screwed. And I knew I was going to get screwed, but I thought, you know what? This is going to be different. It wasn't different.
No, the energy that you came home with after every session was just like, you were angry, you were exhausted, you had headaches a lot of the time. Like, it was very taxing on you. And you got to ask yourself, like, how do I feel when I'm with this person, and how do I feel after I'm with this person? Like, when you're with them, are you happier? Are you excited? I mean, I took a few networking coffees with some people who are just super negative. Like, I'd leave these conversations and I'm like, why did I just listen to this person complain for an hour? I have better things to do. So then when they asked me for another coffee conversation, I'm like, no. No, thank you. Like, not gonna be able to make it happen. Sorry. But you have to protect your energy. And I know, as cliche as that sounds, you have to put your oxygen mask on first before helping others. That's exactly what they tell you on a plane, because you're kind of useless if you're hyperventilating and having a panic attack on a plane, right?
So when you try to rescue somebody that's drowning, the number one fear is they will take you down with them.
Yeah.
Because they climb on top of you just out of pure panic.
Well, in lifeguard training, they tell us, like, if they're flailing and you're sinking, let them go.
Yeah.
I was a lifeguard for I don't even know how many years throughout high school and college, and that was the number one thing. Like, if you can't safely get them to the shore or to the side of the pool, you need to figure out a different way. You throw them the raft and they have to independently get themselves there, the tube, right? You can't go down with them. There's no productive scenario where that's ideal for anybody, right? Now we have 2 people drowning instead of 1.
I mean, the analogy that the drowning person drowns you and them, that changed my life. Like, that helped me get rid of clients.
100%.
That helped me lose my first shitty client. I remember back when I opened my gym, I had a awful lady. She was horrible, man. She was mad at everything all the time, threw a fit constantly, called me all the time, drank like a fish, blamed everything on me. It was awful. It was like I was getting punched in the mouth every time I worked with her. And she trained 4 times a week, so I saw her a lot. And finally, I just said, listen, I can't do this anymore. Like, I hate coming to work, and I own the fucking place.
Yeah.
Like, you got to go, man. So not only did I fire her as a client, I fired her as a gym member. She wasn't allowed in the gym anymore. So I lost essentially $600 a month. And that was painful. Back when I first started my business, I didn't have $600 to blow. And to get rid of her was... Man, that hurt. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I got like 15 other clients within 2 months. Yeah. So once I got rid of that energy, we gained a bunch of new members. I got a ton of new training clients. Things just turned around, and I felt like I was working a third of the time.
Well, and I hear this so often when people, I get a lot of people that come to me and they say, hey, you know, how did you quit drinking? I know drinking is bad for me, but I just don't know how to quit because... You know, everybody in my family is a drinker. Everybody, you know, I'm in sales. So, you know, I go to happy hours all the time with clients and prospects, and all my coworkers are pretty heavy drinkers. And I don't drink as much as them, but I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And let me tell you, my parents owned a liquor store when I was in high school. I worked at a bar for 4 years in college, was the GM. Then I went on to work for a wine and spirits distributor. And then I went on to work for a beer supplier. So alcohol and plus I've been in sales for who knows how long. So like, yes, happy hours with prospects and clients constantly, still do. So I've had all the same challenges. What I realized when I stopped drinking was I wanted to hang out less and less with the people who were boozing all the time. And I wanted to hang out more and more with people I could have an intelligent conversation with and actually get to know. And I was thinking like, oh, all these people who drink are just like me. No, they actually aren't.
I think that was the hardest thing for me to get over when I stopped drinking was the
not having friends.
Well, no, I went pretty lean in the friend department pretty fast, but I was okay with that because I would go hang out with everybody, the crew.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck these guys. They're all idiots. Like, that guy's falling over. That guy's asleep. That guy, I'm pretty sure, is already thrown up. And they want to go drink more? I'm like, this sucks, man.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's expensive.
Yeah.
Like, we were dropping $200 or $300 a night. And it's like, I don't know, man. I mean, we were doing okay with our with our company, but like, you can only keep that up for so long. Well, either your body's going to give up or your wallet will.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and you just have to recognize that if friends are your real friends, they're not going to judge you for making a healthy choice, right? That's where you actually have the power to positively influence them, because when I stopped drinking, a lot of people in my network stopped drinking too, or cut back, or said, thank you for being open about what you're doing, because it's encouraged me and given me the confidence that I needed to go do this on my own. So you have no idea, what kind of change you make could influence somebody else in a positive way.
I guarantee you stop drinking. I guarantee this. You will have multiple people go, man, I'm glad you did that. I needed some guidance.
Well,
or
and
I needed help to limit what I was doing.
A lot of my clients choose to work with me because of this. So it's actually become a selling point, not a sales hindrance.
Which is the funniest thing I hear, because you hear it a lot and I hear it a lot, is, well, I'm in sales, so I have to drink. Well, no, you're making a decision to drink and you're in sales. Those are not, they're not tied together in any form or fashion.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they sell seltzer water at every bar.
Everyone.
We went to a bar in Montana, hole in the wall. I think that bitch had been there for 400 years.
Easily.
I think it had been there for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And it was dark and
dingy,
hazy and dingy, and it's like just Montana.
Definitely
right?
Dead bodies in the back.
Yeah, like old. That bartender's been there his whole life.
I think there were peanut shells all over the floor, too, if I remember correctly.
Pictures of people's horses were on the wall. That was impressive. But we ordered water and soda water. Yeah. And everybody looked at us like we were crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We're still at the bar, still in the conversation, still talking to people around us.
And also not trying to fit in there. Like, I don't care if I fit in. I'm never going to see these people again.
Yeah.
And if they feel uncomfortable because of our decision, that's great. It's going to help them rethink their own habits.
Yeah. And what an awesome thing to do.
Yeah.
I firmly believe, and I tell all my training clients this, or coaching clients, you're being watched all the time. Your decisions are being watched all the time. You can be the catalyst for change in your group, your family, your neighborhood, your job. Like, you could transform your company by transforming yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Kellogg School at Northwestern University did a study. Basically, the summary is that sitting next to a high performer actually increases your performance by 15%.
Oh, doubt it.
Neuron mirroring is the explanation. If you sit within 25 feet of a low performer, your own performance decreases by 30%.
Double.
Yeah. Which is why we need to choose who we surround ourselves with intention.
You're in control of your fate, man.
Yep.
No one's coming to save you. You have to intentionally make decisions in every aspect of your life if you want to be great and achieve great things.
Thanks for listening to Redefining Resilience.
To learn more about building your mental and physical readiness, check out odysseyresilience.org.
And follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok.